Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today, we are going to be talking about balance. And not just any old ordinary type of balance. We're going to be talking about on balance volume, which happens to be one of my favorite indicators. And I want to show you guys how it led to a 15,000% pump on a certain altcoin. Before we get started today, big shout out to PrimeXBT for sponsoring this video series. I've got a huge selection of videos in the playlist, so if you haven't watched them, make sure you check them out. I've got risk management, calculating position sizes, how to use stop losses, how to take profit, and so many more videos. There's probably over 20 videos, so make sure you check them out. And if you want to try out PrimeXBT for trading, there is a link below, and if you use that link, you can get up to $7,000 deposit bonus. Let's get right into it, guys. Today we are talking about on balance volume, or OBV. It's basically a trading momentum indicator that uses volume to predict changes in stock or crypto price. All right. Basically, volume is a key. You guys should always look at volume when you're charting, in my opinion, because momentum is important. And I think of volume like gas to a car, right? Like if you're low on gas and you're trying to go uphill and you don't have much gas, you're going to come right back down that hill. So I think volume is the same to me. If there's not much volume on a pump, it's running out of steam and it's likely to come back down, and the same for a dump. OBV can give us more of a clear picture of what volume is doing in relation to price. This Granville guy, he talks about OBV acting as a spring being wound tightly, and sometimes you can see on balance volume moving heavily in one direction and price may not be moving, and that's kind of showing you where the momentum is lying at the time. And eventually when that momentum starts to pick up, if OBV is really strong and the volume is really strong already before the move even started, then you can just see that price take off immediately, and it can be kind of like that wound up spring effect where it just goes rapidly in one direction. All right, so it's important to be able to understand how the indicators actually work and how they're calculated. So feel free to read through this here, you guys. We're not going to waste time on that, but if you want to pause real quick, read through that. And we're basically just going to skip the rest of this, and we're going to get into the charts because that's where I use OBV the most, and that's how it's easiest for me to show you guys how it works. All right, so earlier I mentioned a 15,000% pump in an altcoin, and that altcoin was Matic, okay? So let's show you exactly what OBV showed us before that huge pump and how we could have kind of seen it coming from that wound spring effect and how it played out on the chart. This is on balance volume below, or OBV, and you're gonna notice here that from about here on, we have a really, really sharp increase in on balance volume, all right? Very nice move from September of 2019 all the way to December of 2020. We have some very nice upwards movement in OBV, but you'll notice that price relatively remained sideways for this whole period. So what happens is we've got buyers loading here. We've got people accumulating, buyers are loading up, price is remaining relatively sideways, but we're loading that spring. That spring is being wound tightly. Another analogy could be shaking a champagne bottle, and the harder you shake it, the more that cork, the more energy that cork is going to have when it takes off, right? So that's basically what's happening here is we have very, very strong on balance volume pushing and pushing and pushing, but price is being suppressed. That means people are heavily buying and buyers are winning, but price is staying the same. So when price finally breaks out, and you're going to notice this 15,000% move that occurs from on balance volume. Look at that incredible move here. I mean, that is epic. OBV really led the way there, and it was a very good leading factor. And now the biggest thing I always tell people is volume precedes price. All right, for those visual learners, volume precedes price. And that's what's happening here. Volume was telling, price was not doing anything, and on balance volume led the way. So now you can use this on multiple time frames on different charts. And so let's just look at a few examples. All right, so one way you can use on balance volume is for divergences. All right, so if you take the tops, you're going to see price made a higher high, but on balance volume made a lower high, So that would be a bearish divergence when on balance volume makes a lower high and price makes a higher high. Okay, pretty clear, pretty straightforward, right? So now let's look at a bullish divergence, which would just be the opposite, only we're going to use the bottoms of price. So let's get rid of this bearish divergence here, and I'm going to show you we have price going down and we have OBV pushing up. So this is going to be bullish divergence when price makes a lower low and OBV makes a higher low. Pretty straightforward, okay? And those usually lead, those aren't always going to be like the exact bottom or the exact top, but those are just telling you that price is likely to rebound in the opposite direction, because it's basically telling you that there's low volume on the sell-off or low volume on the pump, which, as we talked about at the beginning, that whole gas in the car type deal going up a hill. So we've already learned that we can use OBV to spot divergences and as a leading factor in consolidation. So let's look at another example here of when OBV leads price. Let's take a look here, you guys. You're going to notice that on balance volume is consolidating, all right, very tightly. And this would be considered a bullish consolidation. And you can see that it breaks out right here, all right? So that is where on balance volume breaks out. And you notice that price has not yet broken out, right? Price is just consolidating sideways as well. However we want to draw this, we're just going to put something here, okay? But this is a price consolidation. And what you notice is that OBV is tight as well, but it breaks out early. So if you read this OBV breakout here, you can assume that price is going to follow because volume typically precedes price. And you can see how well this played out here if you caught this breakout here before price broke out, because if you're just looking at price, you would technically need a breakout above here on this consolidation. But what OBV is doing is it's showing you an early breakout, which is letting you get potentially an early entry down here and a better entry because volume is preceding price. You're expecting now that volume has broke out, that price will eventually break out as well. And that's exactly what happened. Now this can happen in either direction, up or down. Of course, nothing is 100% effective, but it's very useful when trying to help you decide where this consolidations are going to go rather than just guessing. So that's one way that I really like to use it, is for more of a leading indicator. Not only that, if I'm on really low time frames, I really like to see, I'll show you guys here. Like look at these big spikes. So this is a very large spike here. So this could be potentially a good shorting opportunity for me, all right? And vice versa on a long. So when I see very dramatic spikes, that tells me that there's a very strong shift in momentum, and that could be a very good clue for me for a momentum trade. And now again, that could be a large spike to the downside or the upside. So that's also one more thing to keep an eye on when using OBV. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Drop some comments below if you have any topic suggestions for future videos. Otherwise, I will catch you on Twitter again. Peace.